sketchy too. And we are live.
And hello.
Good morning. Rise and shine.
Rise and shine.
All right. We all know what episode it is today. We got episode 369.
Holy shit, what a
Let's
time.
go. Landmark.
Iconic. Let's go.
What a
Landmark
time.
episode.
Make sure you guys
Still
like it.
pinning it.
Make sure you guys like it, subscribe, turn your notifications on. LA, I know you're still up partying. Congratulations on winning the Super Bowl last night. Your Los Angeles Rams have won the Super Bowl.
They did.
Whoa.
All right, get the topics over and let's talk football, huh?
All right. Before we start, of course, thank you guys for watching. Head over to our Patreon for access to In the Pit Live every day, weekly bonus YouTube content. And, you know, I think me and John are going to start doing a wrestling live stream on Patreon. So if you want to check that out, too, head over there, get behind the paywall, and check out your favorite podcasters live every morning at 8 o'clock.
Do it.
And tonight we are dropping, if this is updated, if not, don't shoot the messenger, guessing NFL players' favorite foods. Or did that come out last week? Part 2?
That
I think
came out
part two
last
came
week.
You know
out
what,
last
guys?
week,
There's a
yeah.
YouTube video coming out tonight. What that is, I don't have that information for you right now, but keep your eyes out for that. Put on your notification bell so when it does come out, watch it right away.
I mean, that. Can I say one thing before we start? That
Go.
topic thing is fucking just irrelevant because
What?
it's never updated.
This?
That
Oh,
thing.
yeah, I
It's
mean,
never never
I'm-
relevant.
Again, like I said, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just reading what's on
Oh,
this
believe me,
right
I used
here.
to fucking read it and fucking. It would literally say what the video was, and it would write in parentheses, "Not today." It's like, why are you putting it in there?
That doesn't make any
That
sense.
was pretty funny.
So just
And made no
everyone knows
sense.
we have new videos every day at 8
It's like,
o'clock.
what the fuck are we
so
doing here?
Just be on the lookout for that. But all right,
Right,
so I mean, let's just talk about the Super Bowl.
Alright.
The Super Bowl happened.
The Super Bowl did happen.
It happens.
So as we all know, the Los Angeles Rams beat the Cincinnati Bengals 23-20.
What a game!
It was a great game.
You know what they say?
What do they say, Mike?
Good teams win.
Great teams cover. That is the
So it's a win for the
damn
Bengals.
truth.
Bengals, congratulations
Yes.
to your Cincinnati Bengals for
Yep.
being a great team. Clap it up for them.
I can't. It was
Yeah,
plus-
well, that's the only bet I won. Literally, you opened up Pandora's box
sorry,
before the
Mike.
show.
I
Dante
really-
asked me how my weekend was. He asked me how my gambling went. Quick rant, because it's just gonna make me feel better.
Go for
It's
it.
gonna make me
Mike,
feel a
all
little
the floor
better,
is
and then we'll talk
yours.
about the game. Give me 30 seconds.
Yep.
Give me 69 seconds. How about
Give me just sure. See, that works too. I am a awful gambler. I got things that I cannot say live on air done to me yesterday via gambling. I cannot say it on the air because they will just throw me to the curb. They'll probably put me in prison if I say these things.
They're pretty graphic.
To
the
put
things
it,
you were
yeah,
saying,
that's graphic. And to
Mhm.
put it lightly, I got beaten in the head 12 rounds, Mike Tyson in his prime, and then he did things after to me, to my dead body, and it wasn't pretty. But congratulations, Cincinnati, on being a great team. Let's talk football, huh?
Yeah. All right.
Thank you for letting me do that. I feel better.
No,
I appreciate
whenever
it.
you
We
need to
understand.
rant, whenever you need to vent, Mike, just give
Thank
me
you.
a hand signal or something. And,
No, I'm good now. I'm good
All
good
right.
to go. Thank you.
All right. So, the Rams beat the Bengals 23-20. Early on in the game, I mean, it seemed like the Rams, they were up, what, like 14-3?
Like they were going to run them over.
It looked, the way it was looking, I mean, all right, so let's be honest here. Between the two teams here, the Rams were the better team, without a doubt.
Oh, yeah.
This was just like the Bengals team of destiny. They got hot at the right time, as I've been saying, and they just, they made it to the Super Bowl. And at that point, they can beat whoever. But the Rams on both sides of the ball, I mean, Matt Stafford, his first Super Bowl in 13 seasons, that guy was just ready. We say, we've seen him in the playoffs before, hasn't really showed up in big games, but this is the one that this is truly the one that mattered, and he showed up. He had 26 for 40, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but I mean, he played a very, very good game. Cooper Kupp. So I just want to talk about
Absolute
Cooper Kupp really
stud.
quick.
Is he like,
I think, all right, so
is he the best
I am
player
looking,
ever?
so there are a lot of numbers I'm going to throw at you guys right now.
in the game right now.
He's without a doubt the
Oh, by
best wide
far.
receiver. I think
It's not even
you could
close.
argue that he had the best season for a wide receiver in NFL history.
Yeah. Start to
So
finish.
this was his season in 21 games, 178 catches, 2,425 yards, 22 total touchdowns. He won the Triple Crown for receiving, so that's catches, yards, and touchdowns, most for that position. Unanimous All-Pro, most catches in a single postseason with 33. The NFL Offensive Player of the Year, Super Bowl champ, and MVP. The only other man, so this year he won the Triple Crown, Offensive Player of the Year, Super Bowl MVP. Jerry Rice is the only wide receiver in NFL history to do all of those things in an entire career. Cooper Kupp did it in one
Holy
season.
Shit.
I don't think it's crazy to say that he had the best season for a wide receiver ever. I mean
If
those
you put it that way, it doesn't.
no, I mean those numbers speak for itself, man. I mean
That is.
he's he had 2
nuts.
touchdowns last night. He had 80 yards, and if I don't know, man, I just don't have
Guy's
like
an
the other
absolute
seasons in
stud.
front of me or anything like that. But like when you see something like that, I mean that's unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Guy's an absolute stud.
All season long, he just was unstoppable. I feel like every single week you were just seeing like him dropping over 100 receiving yards or something, and kind of going down that gambling route. His over
They better
for
make sure they keep him there for a very long time.
well, they'd be stupid not to. He hit his over for receiving yards, and I think it was out of the 19 games. I think it was out of the 15 games. Out of the 19, he went over. Like that's just like that's nuts.
What
And
was
his
his stat
overs
line
were like
last night?
100. His stat line was 8 catches, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns, and of course he had the touchdown that won them the game as
Yep.
well. So I mean,
Yep.
it's
I will say, for the most part, they kept him in check. The Bengals, for the most part.
well, I mean, 92 yards for him is low.
Yeah,
to be
right,
honest
that's
with you,
crazy.
yeah. Mike, can you just
Oh.
Just, I honestly didn't even think about it. You're totally good.
Jesus Christ.
No, you're
Did
fine.
This thing like zoom in. I used to be over here.
Yeah, it's because we do the 2 now, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's zoomed in. That's
Okay.
what it is.
Okay.
I didn't even know.
My sincere apologies.
No, do not
Sorry,
apologize.
Mike, I put the on this morning.
So yeah, Cooper Kupp did his thing. Odell Beckham Jr. He seemed like he was on his way to putting up unbelievable numbers that game. 2 catches, 52 yards, and a touchdown. First touchdown of the game, and then I believe it was the second quarter goes down
With a
with a knee
knee.
I
injury.
think he tore his ACL.
Non-contact. It
didn't look pretty.
No.
You could see the knee just.
Yeah, it looked like your classic ACL.
Yeah, it's too bad.
What did I do?
Now he's not going to play probably all of next year. Or a lot of
Yeah,
next
I
year.
mean, it's one of
Yeah,
those things
true.
where you really hope for the best, but it's like
It's
whenever,
like now he's not getting no long-term contract.
and that's unfortunate too. I'm happy he got his
He was going
ring.
to get fucking paid too. He was going to get fucking paid.
I really
Probably
hope
by
the
the
Rams
Rams.
still give him that shot. I hope they give him
They're
at
gonna give
least
him
a
another
1
one-year
year,
deal.
a
That's what
1
they're
year.
gonna do. They're gonna
And I
give him
mean,
a one-year
he deserve. I think he deserves it. I mean, you
Yeah.
saw. I think last night, it spoke volumes about Odell and how good he still is.
Oh, yeah.
Correct. This whole postseason run, it speaks volumes to how good he still is. I think it also might speak more about how bad Baker Mayfield is, or the Browns are, because
Yeah.
this guy was in purgatory for 3 years, just being held back, and then he finally goes somewhere else, and look what
Yeah.
happens. He's a Super Bowl champ.
Father was right.
And he played well. Like him and Stafford clicked very
Yeah.
quickly, and they figured it out. And it's
He finally had a quarterback that could throw to him. I mean, let's be honest with you. I mean, I know Eli Manning is probably a Hall of Fame quarterback and everything, but he had
Definitely is,
Eli
unfortunately.
Manning late in his career, and Eli Manning wasn't putting up extraordinary numbers. He gets Baker Mayfield, who I believe is as mediocre as they come, and you finally get a championship-winning quarterback in Matt Stafford, and look what happens. So
I also, again, I'm not taking anything away from Odell, but it
Mhm.
also helped that they have a premier wide number one in front of him.
100%, because he doesn't have to worry about being the number one.
'Cause
Even when
now
he
you're
signed,
not
they had
getting the
Robert
best
Woods
corner on
too.
You wouldn't get the best when the Rams line up. They're gonna have their best guy on Cook.
Mhm.
So,
100%. It's a matter of being in the right situation as well.
Yeah.
That's all a part of it as well. But regardless, it was nice to see Odell. It was nice to see a lot of the guys on the Rams win the
Nice to see
championship.
Aaron Donald get a ring.
Aaron
too.
Donald got a
Yeah.
ring. Matt Stafford, Cup. What's his name? Who's the
Sean McVay too.
Sean McVay? Who's the 40-year-old? What's his
Wetworth or
Wet-
Wetworth?
Whitworth.
Wentworth?
Whit Whitworth.
Yeah, there you
Whitworth,
go.
yes. Seeing those guys win something
He's
was
retiring.
really
Get the
cool.
fuck outta here.
40 years old,
Oh,
yeah.
He's definitely gonna retire.
Didn't he retire already and then he came back, or was something like that happen,
Maybe.
or was that someone else? Man? Oh,
was,
no,
Weddle.
Waddle.
Weddle.
Oh yeah, he's
Whoever
done.
it was.
He's he
Eric
already said,
Weddle.
he goes, yeah, I'm done now.
Now, speaking
Let's-
of retirement,
Let's talk about the defense quick before we go into
for it.
retirement. I mean, yes, Stafford and Cup played very, very well.
The defense carried them.
Look, Von Miller, you double team Donald. Von Miller gets a couple sacks, a couple quarterback pressures. You eventually got to chip him. Donald is free, and they have Leonard Floyd. Not Leonard Floyd. What is it? Leonard Floyd? Who's the linebacker? 54. Is it Leonard Floyd? Whatever. Floyd.
Floyd.
I mean, dude,
Floyd.
how do you stop that defense? It's unbelievable, and they played that D line played as they should. It was.
I mean, they gave the Bengals
That
O-line gave up
offensive
7
line
sacks.
proved that cost the Bengals, too.
Yeah, I think
That's
That
what
guy
they.
got run over by Donald on 4th and 1.
you would-
Run over.
That's what they
Aaron
need in their
Donald-
offseason.
especially towards the end of the game, Aaron Donald was on one. He was so motivated in the last 2 minutes of that game. It was I saw Satan in those eyes. I saw the devil in those eyes. I would not want to be anywhere near him in those last. 2
He
minutes.
is one of the scariest people I've ever seen in my life.
He is. I mean, where would you guys think? Like, where would you rank him? Like, best defensive players of all
Top
time.
5
Top
easy.
5, right?
Of all
'Cause I'm
ti- of
top
all
5 all
time?
time.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
top
Top
5
5 easy.
best defensive player of our generation. I think.
Yeah.
I just can't. I mean, you still got Ray
Darrell
Lewis.
Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis is fucking disgusting.
You have Lawrence Taylor. You got guys like that.
You got the
have
refrigerator.
You got the refrigerator.
You got Reggie White.
You have a few guys you can put up there. But Aaron Donald, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 8-time Pro Bowler,
7-time All-Pro.
7-time, and then you finally get a ring. I mean, that's
First ballot.
first. Oh yeah,
Easy.
but that he could
Easy.
retire. How old is he?
And
He
well,
might.
He's
that's
30.
He might.
Yeah, you
He could. I mean,
there's
well,
your segue.
Yeah, so segue, there was a report that came up before the game. I guess sources, people close to Donald are saying that he's talked about potentially retiring if they won. Well, they won,
I think he's going to do
and
it.
he was questioned about it after, and he said, I'm just going to enjoy the moment right now, and then I'll get to that later on, which is,
Completely
that makes
understand.
perfect sense.
Sure does.
What do you guys think? Do you
I
think
think
he
he's
should
gonna- I think he's
retire,
I
or
would.
should, or,
I would.
yeah?
What else do you have to prove? That's a tough position to play
Mhm.
every year like
Yeah.
that.
And look how big he is. You know that takes a toll on his.
Not only that, but he's dealing with massive offensive linemen. And getting double teamed like that all the time, it's
Yeah.
got to get fucking draining.
I don't think he's gonna retire. He's still top of the. He's still the best. I
we
mean,
said that
the
about-
best interior D lineman in the game right,
Right.
now. He's, some people might say he's the best D lineman. I don't know. T.J. Watt's nasty, but I don't think he's gonna retire. I think he's too damn good still. There's no slowing down,
Yeah.
and I think he just loves barreling people over.
I kind of look at it from both sides because, like you said, like he's the best. He's still one of the best. He's might be the best at his position, one of the best in the game. Why retire when you're at the top?
Yeah.
Said same thing
Some
about
people like
Brady.
going out on top.
Same thing about Brady. And going to what you said, Nick, what else is there to accomplish? 3-time defensive
Another
player
Super
of
Bowl?
the year. I mean, at this point, you're chasing more Super Bowl
but you're
rings.
just chasing more
But
rings.
to some people, like you win that one, and it's like it's like that's
that
what's
you're not guaranteed
important.
another one.
And you're not guaranteed another one. So and it takes a toll on you. I know
very
he's
hard
still
to repeat.
relatively young, but I think whatever decision he makes, you're gonna have to respect it. If he retires,
Game of football, you hope he doesn't. But
yeah. And it's football. I mean, listen, you're blessed if you're playing in the football for as long as playing football for as long as he has. Like that game is unforgiving. You can be there for. You can be a flash in the pot in the NFL. You know, you're not guaranteed to play 15, 20 years. So it's like if you can get a chance to walk out of that early on, no injuries. You know, with all these
and it ain't
accomplishments.
like
I mean,
he hasn't made a lot of money.
and he's made a lot of money too. That's a great point. And like you said, first ballot Hall of Famer. There's no doubt about that. Zero doubt about that.
I'd walk if I was him. I'd walk out on top.
I think it depends what they do in the off
Yeah,
season
you
too.
see
I
what
mean,
the
they
team
went.
does.
They've been going all in for a few years, kind of just getting rid of their draft capital, getting their guys they need, and they finally did it. See what they do in the off season, but I mean, if they got a similar team or they got the same team,
Run it back.
run
The
it
NFC's
back,
wide
dude.
open.
Run it back.
NFC's wide open again.
They're gonna be the heavy favorites.
Yep.
Run it back, dude. You're only 30. Give it another couple of years.
We'll see.
Win a couple rings. Like you're gonna make it to the
They'll
Super Bowl
be in
again.
contention for a while.
Yeah.
They'll as long as they stay healthy, they're in contention for a while.
Yeah.
So we'll,
Supposedly they got a shit ton of cap space too.
they have a
There's
few
Jared
free.
Goff's coming off the books. Doug
Oh,
Gurley's coming off
that's
the
right.
books.
They were paying him this year. That's right. The Odell's gonna be a free agent. Von Miller's gonna be a free
Yeah,
agent.
but now you can
They
just
got-
Odell.
Odell,
as
you
far
can-
as a big deal now.
Yeah, he's not gonna get a long-term big deal now.
And
Von Miller.
Von Miller might just test free agency somewhere. Who knows?
Right. Yeah, we'll see what they do. I mean, that Aaron Donald, they can make a decision based off of what happens. He sees what the team does, blah blah blah, and then he'll make his decision. So just a little bit more about the game. So there were two calls last night I want to talk about because we do have people in the comments bringing them up. If you guys have any comments about the game, anything you want us to talk about, put it in the chat. But there was one call that wasn't called, actually. Well, there was one call at the end. It was the pass interference Cooper Kupp.
Mm-hmm.
Right? People are bullshit about that. Was it? I don't think it was offensive, or I don't think it was a defensive penalty whatsoever. I think that was a bad call. But if we go back to the third quarter, when I believe it was who got the was it Boyd? Well, Jalen Ramsey got face masked, and they scored that touchdown there. Was it T. Higgins that did that?
I think.
Yes,
so.
it was T. Higgins because he had the only 2 touchdowns for the Bengals.
Yeah.
Grabbed Ramsey's face mask, just like twisted his head and just threw him to the ground. No call, and he got a touchdown.
Yeah.
That was a blatant no call. And then, no one really was complaining about that. And then later in the game, they had that penalty. People were complaining about that because it was so close to the end of the game. But it was like, that shit happened to the Rams. This shit happened to the Bengals. It evens itself out. It
Yeah.
equals out.
Yeah.
So, like, I didn't really see. And honestly, in NFL, you can expect a call like that at some point. The refs were actually pretty good for most of the game.
Yeah.
There were no flags really were flying until the last
thing
few
you wanna see in a
minutes.
Super Bowl is a fucking 100,000 flags.
It was annoying at the end of the game because it was going by very smoothly. It seemed like the Super Bowl was actually going by pretty quick, to be honest with you. Pretty fast-paced game. Not a lot of stoppage time or anything like that. And then at the end, there were just flags being thrown left and right. But whatever. There was a few makeup calls in there, too, it seemed like. But that's how football works.
Yep. Such is football.
Such
I
as
will
football.
say that catch that Chase made in the first quarter.
Oh, the one-hander,
That was
unbelievable.
disgusting.
I'll say, listen, Jalen Ramsey, like
he got burnt.
Jamar Chase did a lot better on Ramsey than I thought he would.
Oh yeah.
He did a whole lot better
Ramsey
on
wasn't.
Ramsey.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
It didn't seem like he was on his A
disgusting,
game.
but He wasn't necessarily shut down last night.
No, I mean Chase had 5 for 89. I mean that's pretty respectable for a Super Bowl for a first-year player against the best cornerback in football, arguably. So, but yeah, I feel bad. I mean, I wanted the Bengals to win. I feel bad for Joe Burrow. He played a great game. We talked about Stafford.
Need an O-line.
Burrow had 22 for 33, 263 yards and a touchdown. He got sacked 7 times. When he went down, he grabbed his knee, and started screaming in pain. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
I know.
You would have think they learned after what happened to him last year. The one thing that he needs is at this point, you
He
have
needs
the
it, dude.
weapons. You have
Yeah.
everything you
All
need.
offensive
All
line.
offensive line. You can improve the defense, but honestly, the defense did okay
Offensive
last
line.
night.
You
The
need the
offensive line is
line.
priority number 1. Priority number 1.
You gotta protect your freaking franchise.
This guy took you to the Super Bowl in his 2nd season. He missed half of his rookie year because he destroyed his knee.
Yep.
You need to protect this. No, exactly. They want him to keep bringing them back to Super Bowls, AFC Championship games and stuff. You gotta help him out here. If you let stuff like that happen, they're lucky that wasn't more serious because it looked like he was in obvious pain when it happened. They are lucky that wasn't worse because who they have. I don't even know who they have as a backup. Joe Mixon, he threw a touchdown last night. Would he have been the backup? I don't fucking know. So they gotta figure that out because they can't be risking
That's
their
the-
franchise.
If you go into next season with the same offensive line, you're asking for him to get destroyed.
I mean, 2 years in a row. He had the injury his first year, and he had the injury scare last night. That's 2 times, man. I mean, you gotta be careful. So we talked about what the Rams need to do this offseason, bring some guys back, make a run at it, and the Bengals get a better O-line.
Yep.
But all right.
Another football season in the books.
Another
It's very
football
sad that's
season
over.
in the books.
Yep.
We'll be back. See you in September. So let's stick to football. One more topic here. Aaron Rodgers. There is a report that came out. Let me see if I can find it right
Going
now.
back to Green Bay, right?
Packers
They're
are
pushing
prepared to go
hard.
all in for Aaron Rodgers in 2022, spending as close to the cap this year and spreading it into the future years as much as possible. Per sources, Saints used this approach for Drew Brees, and Green
Yeah.
Bay willing to deploy that model to
How'd that
further
work out?
entice Rodgers. Why haven't they been doing this, for the 15 years they've had him? Go all in. You
I don't
have
know,
one
man.
of the best, most talented quarterbacks.
Well, I don't know if that. I mean, he's had Devontae Adams. It's not like he hasn't had.
Yeah, but he hasn't gotten Devontae Adams until a few years ago, too. I'm just saying, when
Yeah.
you are someone like Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, you only have one ring to your name, you should have more than that. You need to have more than that.
Yeah.
He
It all
needs,
also replicates on the player too.
I guess so, but
He only scored 10 points against the 49ers in his own house, all coming off.
yeah,
a
that
bye.
was embarrassing.
Come on.
That was embarrassing. I just think, I don't know. It's like it's a little too late for this.
No.
Like too little, too late here. Like, I mean, why didn't they do this when all this shit started hitting the fan? Why didn't they go all in then and try to entice him to stay? Now
Yeah.
it's like he already has one foot out the door. So it's like, is this really enough to make him stay at this point? This could get nasty. This could really stretch out to potentially the beginning of the season because maybe they don't want it. He wants to be traded and they don't want to trade him. They're not gonna. They have the control.
Yeah.
He could say I'm going to retire, and then that
Yeah.
turns into a whole thing. So
I think you're right. It can get very dicey. I mean, if they throw everything at him, I mean, but if he seems like a guy who kind of has his mind made up or somewhat stubborn, if he just is like, no, then he's going to retire. He's going to be like, no, I'm not playing. He's going to hold out
right,
if he really, really doesn't want to go back to Green Bay.
the
And
Packers.
then now it sounds like they're definitely not going to trade him.
Seems like it. Seems like they want to give it one last shot at least. But
Everybody has a price.
yeah,
don't
I
know,
mean,
man.
listen, if they
You get three
this is
first-round picks.
this is
fine.
like the Seahawks
So
with Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
If you can get, I mean, Aaron
Wow,
Rodgers is
stupid
38
upside.
years old. He's 38. I mean, listen, even if you kept him around, how much longer is he going to be around for?
Yeah,
You know?
he's already fucking thinking about retiring.
Yeah, so you can get if you can find a team that can give you multiple first round picks and whatever else you
start to
include in there,
rebuild.
you start to rebuild. You start to rebuild because that's not a bad starting point.
Unfortunately, there are GMs out there and owners and whatnot that just aren't smart like that. Unfortunately, and they're just gonna do their best. They're gonna do everything to just keep Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just
Why would you want a guy who's not committed to you all the way?
because he's an four-time MVP, and he just had another MVP season.
I know, but he's 38. We're talking about a 28-year-old here.
No signs of slowing down. If I were the Green Bay Packers, I would do the same thing. This guy just had one of the best seasons he's ever had, like one of the 4 best seasons he's ever had. So I mean, I would do the same thing, but you gotta know he's probably just willing to walk.
Right. Well, that's another thing that this offseason.
Fucking Jordan Love is your backup.
Yeah, I mean they're not going to be doing much
Jesus
with Jordan
Christ.
Love. That's the thing. If they go rebuild, they are
They're
going to turn
stink.
into one of the worst teams in the league.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. It's going to be a complete 180.
I think that's they kind of realized that they fucked up by drafting Jordan Love.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of walking back on that one and realizing that if they go full rebuild with Jordan Love, they're gonna suck for a while, and that's why they're throwing the bag at Rodgers.
Jordan Love was in the 2020 draft. 2020 NFL draft quarterbacks. I want to see if there's anyone drafted after
Yeah, I don't really
Jordan Love
remember that draft,
that
to
they
be
missed
honest.
out on.
I'm sure there is.
All right, we had Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Tua, Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts went after him.
Yeah.
All these guys are no names. Yeah, I think. Yeah, wow, this was a very weak quarterback class.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, I mean Jalen Hurts was really the only guy left, so I guess I don't know. Yeah, if Aaron
They just
Rodgers
shouldn't have
is
drafted a
gone,
quarterback.
They should, or maybe just drafted someone else to help out Rodgers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Could they have got Justin Jefferson, or was that before?
I think he went before
Okay.
because he was late first. I think Justin Jefferson was like
Like
mid-
18 or
So-
17
yeah,
or
something
something
like
like that.
that.
Yeah.
Imagine that though, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams. That would have been fucking
Jesus
nasty.
Christ.
That would have been disgusting.
Oh, I think you would have kept Aaron Rodgers around just fine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. That's something that this is gonna be an interesting offseason. There's gonna be a lot of movement, and I think,
Very exciting offseason.
yeah, very exciting offseason ahead of us. And we are officially in the offseason. So, sticking to the off. Oh, actually, really quick, I don't know if you guys saw this. So Van Jefferson, the wide receiver for the Rams, his wife went
What a
into
fucking
labor
night he had, huh?
mid-game. Well, in the third quarter. So right after the game was over, he took their child and he ran out of the stadium and went to the hospital, and he had a kid. So
Unbelievable.
congratulations, Van Jefferson. You
What
got
a
a
night.
ring.
Imagine
And
that, came and celebrate. Oh, yeah, I got something bigger planned right now. I gotta
yeah,
go.
no kidding. What a night he had.
Good for him. I'd be pissed though.
Oh, I'd be pissed. Be like, I couldn't have waited like 3 days, 2 days.
You're looking at the kid. What's the
Couldn't
fuck
happen
is wrong
last
with
It's like what?
you?
It's like, dude.
It's like you couldn't wait, bro. I just want us a ring. I just got us all this money.
We'll,
and you
we'll have
you
this
gotta do
conversation
for
when
your
you're older,
ring.
but I'm fucking pissed at you.
You're lucky
Who the
you're
fuck
cute.
are you?
You're lucky you're cute.
yeah, seriously.
All right. So let's get into something that could happen in the NFL offseason. Carson Wentz. The Colts will likely trade or release Carson Wentz
What?
What a fucking
This
stupid fucking trade this is.
this offseason. So,
He's gonna get another job, obviously. So.
yeah, I mean, he's a starting quarterback. Is he the best?
He's definitely a starting
No,
quarterback.
he's a starting quarterback. If
Where
you
is
put-
he gonna go play?
I mean, he
give me
wasn't-
give me a team that is gonna take him and put him in a starting quarterback role. Give me a team.
I mean, I
Pittsburgh.
can give you a few teams. Pittsburgh is.
They're not gonna. Why
I
would they
think
want
Denver
Carson
could.
Wentz?
That's an upgrade.
Why would they want Carson Wentz? Maybe
Because it's an
Denver.
upgrade. Certain teams need to be an upgrade on.
Oh man, I don't think so.
Honestly, let me
He
look.
Houston?
stinks, dude. He stinks.
Houston could be better. Yeah, I mean,
Houston?
all right, let's see who we
Maybe
got
Tennessee.
here. Tennessee could use a new
that's-
quarterback.
they're-
Carson
Tannehill
Wentz,
and Carson Wentz are the same fucking quarterback.
he's not like the worst. I mean, if you put him in a system, if you put him in the right situation, he'll be fine. He had, all right, let's see what he had this year. He went 9-8 this year, 62% completion, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I mean, that's
Tampa?
Tampa. I saw at Tampa there was a report that they were looking at Deshaun Watson and
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
But they also said they're not ruling out Brady coming back.
You know,
Brady's done.
why can't they let this guy just be, he just announced this 2 weeks ago. Just give it a
He's
break.
not coming back.
They give it a break. If
Stop pulling a fucking Brett Favre.
even if he is coming back, it ain't gonna be this year. So give it a break, man. The guy, let him at least have a year off. Let him eat his avocados, his tomatoes in peace. Leave the guy alone.
Give him a Big Mac.
Have a Big Mac, Tom Brady. Come on. I know you've never had one of those before. Just try it. But no, I mean,
won't kill you. Now you're retired. It won't kill you.
yeah, you got no one to impress now. Come on. Yeah, I mean, Carson Wentz, he had 3,500 passing yards too. He's better than Baker Mayfield.
Could go to Cleveland.
I think Baker.
Do you firmly believe that?
Yes. Oh, yes.
A healthy Baker Mayfield?
I mean, I don't think a healthy Baker Mayfield is much better than what he.
I don't
was
think he's
this
much
year.
better, but I don't think. I think it's just kind of a neutral. Like it's just going from.
I think Carson Wentz is an average system quarterback.
I think Carson.
That
Wentz
if you
sucks.
want to be,
Carson Wentz or Jimmy Garoppolo.
if you want to be on,
Jesus Christ, I'd rather fucking kill myself. I think Carson Wentz blows, and I think he proved that this year. If he was even like decent, that team would have won the Super Bowl. That team was nasty. They have unbelievable defense. They have an unbelievable O line. They had an MVP candidate running back, and it just shows that Carson Wentz, he wasn't even he sucks. He sucks.
well, I mean, there's a reason why they want to move on from him too. So if we look back last offseason, they traded.
We got a first-round pick.
They traded a 2021 third round pick and a conditional 2022 second round pick that became a first round pick because Wentz played 75% of the snaps for the Colts
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
So he went for a first and a third.
Tough.
And he's owed $22 million in base salary, and
Who the hell's gonna pay that?
they want to let him go by March 18th because once that day comes, he will be given an additional $6.29 million signing bonus on that day for it's in the contract clause, whatever it is. So yeah, that's another quarterback that can be on the move. I understand. He's not the best quarterback. He's not necessarily a quarterback that's going to win you. That's going to lead
Anything.
you far into the playoffs. I'm not even going to say win a championship because I'm not even going to put him in the same sentence as a championship. But I do think that he is better than a decent amount of quarterbacks that a team can look at as an upgrade. Like we were talking about the Steelers. I mean, over Mason Rudolph, he's an upgrade. The Texans over Davis Mills, he's an upgrade.
So my issue with that though is if you're gonna like, for some odd fucking reason, he is worth a lot of money. Carson Wentz.
Yep.
He's been getting paid his whole career, even though he sucks.
'Cause he was the
So
second overall.
so why are you gonna invest your money in that, in a shitty player, in a shitty quarterback that you know is not gonna make a playoff run for you, instead of just, you rebuild around Mason Rudolph or something like that. You get what you need, and then you dump him and get a better draft a better quarterback, because Carson Wentz isn't going to take you anywhere. Why invest a shit ton of money in him?
No, I understand, but there are just some teams. I think there are just teams that look at that. Like, I understand what you're saying, and I'm not necessarily disagreeing with it. But there are teams that would rather be in a position where they can be like, oh, we can make the playoffs, compared to just having no shot. You know what I mean? I think there are just some teams that want to stay at least a little relevant.
I'd
And
rather
Carson
have-
Wentz he'll keep you in the conversation, but like I know he's not.
I don't know if he will. I think
I mean,
like
the
the
Colts were right there.
But that's because the defense and Jonathan Taylor.
But again, you put him on a
You
team.
could have thrown any quarterback.
So
in
you
there.
put him on the Steelers though, that
He-
have an amazing defense, and you give him Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith, Claypool. I mean,
Then you just have the Colts. You have the Colts. That's the same team. Carson Wentz is not. He's not the person you're going to toss.
he's not
in
the
and-
answer.
no,
he's not an answer.
He's not.
I know. I know.
If I were the Texans, I'd rather just stick with Davis Mills.
Like, I mean,
Like-
the Colts. Wow, the Colts. They were the ninth. No, they were the 8th seed in the AFC this year. They went 9-8, and the Steelers were 9-7-1. Like they missed out by barely. Not to say that they would have done anything if they made the playoffs, anyways. But it's like they were right there.
They also lost to Jacksonville to end their season.
They
Carson
imploded.
Wentz was the reason
they
they didn't make the
imploded. They
playoffs.
imploded that game.
He actually was the reason they didn't make the playoffs.
They imploded that game. I will. Yeah, that's very fair. I mean, you lost 26-11 to Jacksonville. Carson Wentz had 185 yards, a touchdown, interception. Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, so that's another quarterback that could be on the move. Just adding to the list of quarterbacks that could be on the outskirts or are on the outskirts. It seems like this report is basically saying that the Colts they're done with him.
See ya.
They will
Get
have to
someone
pay
else
him $15 million, though, if they release him before March 18th. But they would still save a ton of money. They could trade him, but
You're gonna have to
that's
add
a lot of
something to the
money.
trade.
$29 million he is owed this year. If they trade him, they have to give a team has to take on a $29 million contract. That's a lot of fucking money.
That's why you gotta add something. So you're gonna have to put money in that or something.
Throw some picks in there maybe too to entice it a little bit. Yeah, I mean that's tough situation to be in, I guess. But I guess the Colts, they're in the running for a new quarterback now. Who could
Aaron
go?
Rodgers.
I feel like, and this is crazy I feel like I keep saying this for like teams that are looking for quarterbacks and like decent systems. I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo could go fucking anywhere this offseason. He can go to Pittsburgh. He can go to Tampa. He can go to fucking Indiana. I mean, he could go to Indiana now, it looks like. He's going to have options this offseason. The Saints.
Speaking of that, do we think Kyler Murray's gonna get moved this offseason?
Ooh, that's great.
Seems like
topic,
he
Nick.
wants to.
So let me pull up the exact report so I had to get this correct. There's a lot of tension between that organization and Kyler Murray right now. I just looked up Kyler Murray on Twitter, and the first thing that came up was Kyler Murray Colts. That is disgusting to think about.
Yeah, they would be pretty good.
All right, so this is the report. So there is an odd vibe between the Cardinals and Kyler Murray. Murray is described as self-centered, immature, and a finger pointer. Murray is frustrated with the franchise and was embarrassed by the playoff loss to the Rams and thinks he's being framed as the scapegoat. Where is it headed? Where is it headed? Well, the Cardinals expect things to calm down, and Murray is their quarterback. Select veterans hope to reach Murray on how he can handle adversity better. And Coach Cliff Kingsbury also is self-scouting, where he can provide better alternatives for quarterback.
Self-scouting, huh?
People are pointing fingers at you because you threw 18 picks in a playoff game and you looked horrible and you're the quarterback. So that's what happens.
Right. And
Grow up.
Kyler Murray is also very young, so that explains the whole immaturity and the
course.
finger pointing thing.
Yep.
That's something that comes with age. I mean, some people are born with maturity and they can handle adversity. Some people it takes longer than others to get to that point. But
And some are just prima donnas.
some are prima donnas, and I mean, if this is true, it's sounding like Kyler Murray is a prima donna who thinks he is owed the world and he is one of the best
Kinda
quarterbacks.
looks like that type of guy, too.
He seems like that type of guy.
Seems like that type of guy.
I mean, we looked at that team. I mean, they were undefeated for the first 8-9 weeks of the season. They looked like a team that could win, that could
nothing.
be a contender, and then they just collapsed by the end of the season. So that's something else to watch, I guess. I mean, if he's on, let's just say they put him on the block. I mean, what do you guys think his trade value is? Do you think he's worth? I mean, he was a first overall pick 2-3
He's at
years
least
ago.
worth they're gonna ask for at least 3 first-round picks.
They're not going to let him go for nothing. I mean,
No.
even if it gets as bad as it gets, he has no leverage. He's on a rookie deal still.
Yeah.
And that's
Zero
the-
leverage.
He's 24 years old.
You don't have too much leverage as a 24-year-old. I mean,
They would probably change it like 4 first-round picks for him, honestly.
I think
crazy.
this is something that you just got to sit down and talk it out because they have a great situation in Arizona right now. You got one of the best receivers in football, DeAndre Hopkins. James Conner had one of the best running back. I mean, he had 15, 16 touchdowns this year. Chase Edmonds. You got not a nasty, but a decent defense over there. J.J. Watt, he's been hurt, but you got big name players on that team. You can make it work. You have a great coach, Cliff King. Not a great coach, but you have one of the better coaches in the league, in Cliff Kingsbury.
Is he though?
I think he is above average. I wouldn't put him in like an A or B tier. Maybe like lower B tier, but like
Dude, I think he's proven that he's like not that good of a coach.
I will say, I think it was him. I don't know if it was I don't know if it was Kingsbury or Shanahan, but it was like a stat that showed like how you start a season and then like the first half of the season, then the second half
His
of the
second
season
half is horrible.
collapses in the second
So
half.
I honestly think he might be a decent head coach. He's a great first half head coach, but I think he's proven that he's not that good. To be to be great and even good, you got to be able to close second half of the season, and it's just he's proven that he can't do it. It was the same in college too.
Yeah,
So-
I think it was him.
Would you put him as a
that
top
was.
10 coach in the NFL?
Absolutely not. No, it's not even close. I'm putting him bottom.
All right, so
Definitely bottom 10.
bottom 10.
Yeah, he's not a good coach.
All right, so just top 10. We'd go no order. Belichick, Tomlin, guy from last night, please. Rams.
McVay, Shanahan.
LaFleur.
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 Green Bay, right? Yeah, Green Bay.
Yep.
LaFleur.
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid, thank you. I mean, Brian Flores should be in there, but he's not
no,
head coach
the
right
Titans
now.
head
That's
coach,
the funny part. He is a
Vrabel,
top 10 head coach.
the Titans head coach.
Oh,
Vrabel.
Vrabel.
Definitely.
Who else? Flores. I mean, if Flores is a head coach, I would
Yeah.
probably.
Fucking McDermott.
Yep, McDermott. I mean,
okay.
it's.
I mean,
how
are we
can
going to
you
put
argue
Zach
against Zach
Taylor, the
Taylor
Bengals
now?
head coach? I mean,
Yeah.
he brought him to the Super Bowl. You can make an argument for him too.
Yep.
I'm looking at the other
right now.
teams. I mean,
I'm still gonna throw Pete Carroll in there.
you could. All right. Pete Carroll. You want to put what's it? The Buccaneers head. Why can't I think of him right now?
Arians.
Bruce Arians?
Nah, he's
Bruce
not that good
Arians.
of a coach.
No, I ain't putting him in there.
And we said
Sean Payton,
Shanahan,
I would have
correct?
said, but he just
So
retired.
I think. I mean,
I'm
I'd
not putting
probably
him in
put him
top
10 to 15, probably. I mean, you have to keep in mind too. There were 7 or 8 new coaching hires. I don't think I could put a new
can't- you
head
can't put them
coach
ahead of them
ahead
yet,
of
'cause you
someone
don't
like
know.
Cliff Kingsbury. Not now. I mean, could they?
For Christ's
be?
sake,
Yeah.
I'll take Dan Campbell over Cliff Kingsbury. I'm dead
I do
serious.
love me some Dan Campbell.
I'll take Robert Saleh over Cliff Kingsbury. I'm not, dude. He's not. I think he's a bad head coach. Look at that team. Look at that team that he had, and they did absolutely nothing. I don't know. I think he's a bad head coach.
let me put it this way too. I don't think he would be the first to. If something were to happen on that team, I don't think he'd be the one to fall. Usually, when things fall apart in the locker room, the coaches are the ones to go. I don't think they'd let him go. Because I don't know. I mean, who else are you going to go out there and replace? I mean, Brian Flores is a free agent, but like, we'll just take his name out of the hat for right now because all this stuff going on.
You know who I'd like over there?
Who's that?
Bieniemy.
Well, they're funny you say that. They're meeting. They're meeting today. I don't.
Well, uncertainty with Bieniemy being with the Chiefs still. You heard about that story? I almost
Wait,
texted you
what?
about
I
it.
don't.
Wait, what
I
are you
don't think
talking
it's
about?
uncertainty. I think it's. Hey, Andy Reid, when are you
Oh.
leaving?
Oh,
I think it's
the assistant for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
gotcha.
it's hey, Andy Reid, like, what do you got? 1-2 more years left, and then I'm head coach. I think it's that kind of talk.
I think
So yeah,
they're-
I guess uncertainty.
if
But
he hasn't left yet, I think it's because he's guaranteed something. But
I
there's no
think so.
guarantees in the NFL either. So it's like
Yeah, we all said that about McDaniels.
exactly.
Fucking- that was
McDaniels
what happened
was
there.
ugh,
was
see ya, McDaniels.
all but promised a head coaching spot,
Boy, oh boy,
and then
piss off Belichick. He fucking took like 3 of his coaching assistants with him.
Did he
Take-
really?
He was pissed. He took
Fuck
his wide
'em.
receivers coach, his offensive line coach.
and
He
they
was
they
fucking
hired the
pissed.
GM too, the old GM.
He was fucking pissed because they were saying something like Belichick's like, it's one thing to go out and get your own job, right?
Mhm.
He
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
have
like
a problem with that.
Yeah.
He has a problem with you taking his staff with him.
Yeah,
Right.
as you
There's a
should.
certain line you don't cross.
But isn't that usually what happens though when when they hire a new coach, they usually take
Kinda.
staff from the
Yeah.
same team, you know?
Yeah.
I feel
but-
like that's not something that's uncommon. I understand. I mean, it's
a
I would
little-
be bullshit
Well, it
too,
also, it
but
also shows you can't recruit. You can't get your own guys.
yeah, no, 100%.
You know what sucks?
You have to have guys that you're familiar with.
The Patriots are gonna stink for a long time.
I think
They're not gonna be good for
The
a, for a long
Chiefs-
I was
time.
watching that yesterday, and I'm like, it's gonna be a long time until we see the Patriots.
Yeah,
I thought
Yep.
I was thinking the same.
No, I
thing.
was when I was talking to my buddy about it on Saturday when I visited my friend down at, near Quinnipiac. We were talking about it, and I said the Bengals being in the Super Bowl just like tells you that there's just another team much better than the Patriots. You have the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Bengals are going to be 3 of the last 4 teams in the AFC every single year as long as they stay
Titans
healthy.
aren't going anywhere either.
Titans aren't going to go anywhere. Obviously, the Chargers are an up-and-coming team. I mean, they're
Colts are
up-and-coming,
all-
but
Colts
they're
are in
there.
conversation.
The Colts can't be in the conversation if they get a decent quarterback. Listen, let's say let's say Aaron Rodgers comes to the AFC. There you go. That's another team. Whether it's the Steelers, the Broncos, whoever.
Yeah. Well, let's just say
The
this.
Ravens. I mean, they're always going to be there. They're
Well,
always going to be in. They're going to have their name in the
I
hat.
witnessed 6 rings in my life. Obviously, would I love to see another one? Yeah, but if I don't, I'm going to see more than a lot of people will in their time.
Yeah, you know,
Ain't that the truth?
this was the first time since 2008 to 2010 that the Patriots weren't in one of the last 3 Super Bowls. Like within a 3 Super Bowl span, the Patriots weren't in a single one of them, and that's the first time that's happened in over 10 years. Isn't that nuts? That's nuts. That's nuts.
We're very, very lucky.
I was going to say, we're fortunate.
So it's like, you know,
it
and
wasn't going to last forever.
listen, I love
But now I'm
me-
gonna complain for a long time for sure.
I love me some Josh Allen. I love me some Joe Burrow. I'll be happy to see them do well and stuff. I mean, I would love to see the Patriots win something, but I don't expect them
Yeah.
to. So I'm not going to get my
As
hopes
much as
up.
I love Belichick, I do not think he's going to pull this one out of his ass.
You don't think he's going to be able to get a ring without Brady? Not in this
I don't, even
AFC.
know, I don't even know if it's a whole without Brady. I just think there's too much competition now.
A ton of yeah.
Okay, and here's the other thing. And I'm not saying Brady wouldn't have done this
Mhm.
back then, but the only competition Brady really had was Manning, and that went off after like 5 or 6 years. Then
Big
after that
Ben,
it was Mahomes,
but
little
like
Ben. But like
Mahomes,
there wasn't like 3 or 4 guys he had to deal with. It was one guy.
especially that are as young as they are right now.
Right.
Like these guys are only getting better.
Yeah.
These guys are only going to get better.
So again, I'm not saying Brady wouldn't have done what he did. I'm not taking anything away from
Yeah,
him.
mhm.
But it would have been a hell of a lot harder if he had, let's say, Brady from 10 years ago. Now he has to deal with Mahomes, Burrow. Like I just think it'd be different.
Yeah, no, that's a fair argument to make. Fair statement. So yeah, it's gonna be the AFC is in good hands. The NFL is in good hands. I will say with these up and coming quarterbacks. I mean the fact that the Bengals they went from being the worst
Laughing
team
stock.
2 years ago to being in the Super Bowl. You know how much hope that gives other teams? That it just takes one. Obviously, they got Jamar Chase as well. It takes more than one player, but you can turn your franchise around like that with the right drafting,
Oh, yeah.
the right pieces. You can go
Hear
from
that,
0
drafting. That's why we're fucked because Bill can't.
and Bill
draft.
Belichick can't draft, so that gives us
Can't
more of
draft.
a reason to not believe that we can compete with these teams. But I think that's enough. I don't think there's any more football we have to talk about right now.
Yeah,
Let's look at
that's
the comments really quick before we get into the last few topics. Hey, Big Mike. This is from Zach, another Bruins comment.
Yeah.
Do you think Patrice Bergeron will return to the Bruins soon?
Hopefully. I don't know what his injury is, but I mean they won. Excuse me. They won. Yes, 2 days ago. Yesterday, I forgot when it was. Yeah, it's. I was actually having this conversation the other day with somebody. It's just like, so Bergeron's hurt, and Marchand got suspended for 6 games, and it's kind of a little peek into the future, unfortunately, because those guys are getting old, and they'll probably retire somewhat soon. So it's like, oof. Bruins. We were just talking about the Patriots not being good for a while too. It's happening. We're gonna see it with the Bruins, unfortunately, too, because.
Kind of a shitty time to be a Boston fan. Huh?
Yeah, no shit. Once those guys go, it's gonna be tough because then you got Pasternak, who's obviously an unbelievable talent, but just not a leader. I need Tuukka retired and all that, so we'll see. We'll see. They'll make the playoffs this year. Who knows? Maybe they'll get hot at the right time, but it's a little peek into the future.
I feel like they're in a weird spot, the Bruins, because they have young guys, but they also have like old vets and stuff. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like they're in the middle of like a rebuild, not a rebuild, but just like resurgence
Retool?
of young guy, retooling, and
They
then
almost-
being competitive.
Yeah,
It's like they're not picking one or the other. They're
Right.
kind of just like staying in the middle and staying in the middle. Like you can make the playoffs and stuff, but like you gotta have like you have to have like a miracle run to win
Yeah.
a chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know much about. I'm not trying to act like I know much about hockey, but that's just how I see it.
it's kind of like, oof, is this their last push for something?
Right.
Something I don't know.
Um,
I'm just hoping they get hot at the right time at the end of the season, or so. They got a tough latter half of the season because the beginning of it was a lot of stuff pushed around with COVID and whatnot.
Right.
So they have a very hefty back end.
Ryan Word said Celtics are on a hot streak. Yes, they are. They won.
Aren't they? What about a Celtics?
They've won
Hey.
eight straight games. They beat. So I mean, in this win streak, they beat the Pelicans, the Heat. So that's a good win. Charlotte Hornets, good win. Pistons, bad team. Orlando, bad team. Brooklyn, they had no one that game. And then you beat Denver, who has arguably the MVP right now, Nikola Jokic. And then they beat the Hawks yesterday afternoon. Who
Hey, wins are wins, man.
wins are and
Play your
these
schedule.
they are playing game. They are beating teams and winning games that they would not have won 2 months ago. That's how I look at it. That's improvement right there. I think.
Maybe it just took them a while to understand Ukadaba.
Hey, a new head coach. It doesn't
Sometimes it doesn't
happen
click right away.
overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. I think the Celtics. So right now, they are the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference, and they are only 4.5 games back of the number 1 seed. I'm not saying they're they're even gonna get the number 1 seed, but they are in a much better spot right now than they were a month ago. At the beginning of January, they were out of the play. They were the 11th seed. They were 9 games back of Brooklyn, and now they are 3 games ahead of Brooklyn in the 6th
Seems like
seed.
the moves that Steven made is going to be
Brad
pretty good,
Stevens made some phenomenal fucking moves. He
Too.
got
Seems like that kid's going to be good.
Derek
for us.
White is going to be really good. So our second unit now. So one of the biggest things about the Celtics, I'm not going to take up too much time talking about this, but the biggest thing with the Celtics was when you take your starters out, the drop off between scoring and defense was monumental. It was awful. Derek White is a guy that can give you 15 off the bench. He's a very good playmaker, averages 6 assists a game, and one of the better perimeter defenders in the league. So the closing lineup right now is Smart, White, Jalen, Jason, Robert Williams. They have the second best defensive rating in the NBA for the entire year, not just in the last month. They're starting to not only, so it's like, okay, these are the numbers they were putting up in the last month. Like, this was their net rating, their defensive rating. It's like, all right, that's just a 1 month. That's only a 1 month span to look at. Now you look at the yearly stats, and they're right up there with some of the best teams. They have the best point differential in the East. I think the fourth best in the NBA, fourth best. They're just putting it together. Guys are healthy now.
Still not getting past the Sixers.
You're not getting back. I don't think you're better than certain teams. I do think Miami's better. I think Chicago's better. The Bucks and Sixers. I mean, you got a few teams you have to go through if you want to even make it far. But I'm more encouraged now than where I was a month ago. So it's progress. It's progress.
Progress, schmogress.
And they play Philly tomorrow, and that is going to be James Harden's first game as a Sixer. There was this thing. I don't know.
Oh, he's all of a sudden healthy, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude, he wasn't hurt. He wasn't hurt whatsoever.
He's something
He
else,
is a
man.
fucking pussy, that guy. But there is this thing, and I don't know if this was just out of spite or there was some scheduling conflicts or whatever. But so Seth Curry and Andre Drummond got traded to the Nets. They couldn't play the other night because James Harden didn't report to the Sixers on time. So they can't. The
guy,
trade
man.
couldn't be completed because Harden didn't
Technically wasn't
report
there.
to the camp and pass his physical and stuff. So they couldn't play. He's gonna play by tomorrow. I think he reported by now, and I think the trade did officially go through. But that happened this weekend. So and people were just like, "Wow, just one last middle finger to Brooklyn."
Yep.
I don't know
Yep.
if there's any truth to that or not, but.
Fuck him.
And then one more. We have a baseball topic, and I think that's all we got for today. So the MLB is arguing that minor league players should not be getting paid during spring training. I don't know if you guys saw this. A Major League Baseball lawyer said in federal court Friday that minor league players should not be paid during spring training because they should be considered trainees. The argument was part of a broader push by MLB to toss an 8-year-old lawsuit brought by this guy Aaron Saney and other minor leaguers over their compensation. Bloom was elaborating on arguments that were made last year and will be hired an expert at a rate of $700. Players in spring training actually receive a value of $2,200 weekly from their teams based on what youth and amateur players pay for baseball training. So basically they're saying that they shouldn't be getting paid that much because
They're not even getting paid.
they're barely getting paid as much as it is anyways.
Talk about pissing off. I don't get this. This is just so stupid.
I'm trying to see. I thought I saw something more in a different article.
It's just such a bad look, dude. They just like you just said, they don't even fucking pay him anything. They pay him fucking dirt.
they get paid nothing.
It's so bad.
What
Like,
you're
pay these
literally-
They
guys,
don't pay
man.
for housing or anything.
don't-
like
they're not
that,
investing in their
food
future.
and
What
everything.
you're
Like
literally telling is you're saying, you know what? Instead of getting minimum wage, we're going to pay you under minimum wage.
It's such a bad.
the
look.
MLB paid a lawyer almost $1,000 an hour to make an argument that minor league players should be unpaid during spring training. Are you
All
fucking
right, so
shitting
you're
me?
spending money on that, but you won't put the money towards the players.
It's so fucking stupid, man. I feel bad for these guys because it's like you
Players
want
are what make the fucking league.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and these guys, like, they have a dream of making it to the MLB, and they have to go through this process of making it to the big leagues. But it's like the road to making it is just so bad. It's so
Some people-
brutal. Like,
And some people just, it's not worth it to them.
it's no. I mean, yeah.
The only reason why you stay in the minors right now is if you love the game. Let's be honest. You can say what you want about the money's that close and everything like that. You still got no guarantee.
It's bad, man.
It's tough. I feel bad for these
Ridiculous. I'm
guys.
sorry. It's fucking ridiculous. These guys in the MLB, they stay at five-star hotels every time they go on a fucking plane.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't give these guys a cot to fucking at least sleep in.
Right.
Shit, what are we doing here?
It's bad.
It tells you a lot about these guys, about the people in charge. I mean, we already know how shitty Rob Manfred is, but he is awful.
I understand.
He is awful.
I can understand not putting them in the five-star hotels, but fucking just take care of them. Like, just give them
Give
something.
them food. Don't give them.
least, like, do
I
the
remember
bare
there were
minimum.
pictures of like the lunch they were getting and
Something.
stuff like that, and it was like literally lunch that you'd get for like a field trip in middle school or something, like
Yeah.
a brown bag turkey, ham sandwich with a pack of mustard and a rotten apple to go with
Yeah.
it, and some maybe some crackers if you're lucky.
Here's the thing, like, have them stay at like a Best Western or something instead of like some fucking shitty motel or something. Give them fucking food that's actually nutritionally good, because guess what? Those guys, you might need them later in the year.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, by the way, those guys might be on your team in 2 or 3 years.
And it just, I don't know. It just makes you look bad, like they care, but just, I don't know. It's just a terrible look.
Yeah, it is.
This was written late October. This is the salaries from last year that minor leaguers are getting paid. You're in the A division, Class A. You get paid a minimum $500 a week. Double A, $600. Triple A, $700. And all those got bumped up by $200 from the year prior. So they were making Triple A guys were getting. Single A guys are getting paid $290 a week in 2020. You can't live off of less than $15,000 a year, and you're telling me that they can't. They have to pay for housing. They got to pay for all that stuff out of their.
So bad, dude. So bad.
What are
Not
we
only that,
doing?
but the long bus rides and shit. You realize how mentally exhausting that must
Yeah,
get?
there's a
Play a 9-inning game, you take a shower, then you hop on a bus for 12 hours, and you fucking do it again?
that takes.
How do you expect these guys to like get better and move up? And it's so bad.
I think that's part of the reason why it takes them so long to move up.
Yeah, probably.
If you think about it, that's probably
Probably.
why it takes so long for them to move up. Ian, what's
What
going
up,
on,
man?
buddy?
The MLB has a lot of shit to figure out.
Thanks, Ian.
Yeah, they have. They sure do.
A lot of shit they got to figure out. And yeah, I don't know if we have anything new about the lockout or anything. And
Keep an eye on it this week.
Supposedly they had a meeting on Saturday, right?
yeah, they said they were gonna offer they were gonna have a counter in good faith or something like that.
Counter in good
But
faith.
that's MLB's definition of good faith. It's a little different
I
from
will
anyone
say this
else's.
though too: if the major league players stood up for the minor leaguers more, things would change.
Mhm.
They're more worried about themselves because they're there, but what they don't realize is that they were there at one point, and to continue
like
to
once
grow the
you-
game and to continue to, because here's the thing: you might be there now, but you won't be there in 10 years or
Mhm.
20 years or whatever. Somebody else is going to take your place.
Right.
Okay, like it doesn't matter how great you are now. As great as Tom Brady is going to stop playing football, and somebody else is coming in.
Mhm.
Like there's people that keep flooding through. Michael Jordan stopped playing. LeBron will stop playing. People keep flooding through.
Yep.
And the people that are there are in your system now, eating fucking, like you said, rotten apples and fucking lunch bags.
Mhm.
Give them good food. How hard is it to give them good food? It's not hard.
It's not.
Go to fucking Costco and buy bulk fucking meat or something. Shit.
It's very
You're
frustrating.
fucking worth billions of dollars. It's not hard.
Yep. You hate
But
to.
you can pay somebody $1,000 an hour to fight this, but instead, why don't you just take care of the mouth that feeds you?
Right.
They're feeding you. Let's be honest.
Ticket
Yes, the
sales,
owners pay
jersey
them,
sales.
But you need players to play the game.
Yep. Yeah. The owners aren't the ones going out there playing the game. They're making money off of their players. It's just an
Which is
unfortunate
fine,
thing.
but you got to take care of them.
It's so unfortunate, but like this,
This
com-
pisses me
coming
off
from
so
the
much.
MLB, it doesn't surprise me. Unfortunately, doesn't surprise me.
Nope.
All right. Does anyone else? You guys have anything?
Keep trucking, minor leaguers. Keep trucking.
Hopefully, maybe the lockout, maybe in the new contract or deal,
Supposedly today was
whatever.
supposed to be day one of spring training, so.
Was today supposed to be
It's
day
supposed
one?
To be. They all
Damn.
supposed to report yesterday. Today was supposed to be the first day for pitchers and catchers.
Damn.
That ain't happening.
Well, who
That
knows?
season's not starting on time either.
Damn shame.
Yep, that's not a good look.
Do you guys have anything else you want to get off your chest before we end this?
No.
Eh,
All good.
yeah, we're
All
good.
good.
We can skip animal fact. We're running late today.
All right. Ryan said that his fiance got him a Red Sox mug for Valentine's Day.
Hell yeah.
He says thank you so much. It's going right on his desk.
Love it.
Shout
We
out to you and
appreciate
your
you, Ryan,
fiance. Great
buddy.
gift. Great gift. But all right. I think that's all we got to say. Nick, you want to
Yeah,
send
let's
us
take
off?
us out. We're going to skip animal fact of the day today. We're running a little late. So make sure you like and subscribe. Turn your notifications on. And little surprise for everybody. Tomorrow's going to be joke of the day, not Wednesday, because I'm going on vacation Wednesday. So tomorrow's going to be joke of the day. Be there, be square. That's a wrap.
Later.